Hello, I'm Li Xuan He, and this is my sign name. Welcome to this Deaf What interview. Today we're interviewing Alexandra Calbay-Martin. Her preferred name is Bella, and this is her sign name. Thank you for joining me in this interview. We're here to learn more about you. Can you tell us more about who you are? I'm deaf. I'm Bella, and this is my sign name. I moved to Canada from the Philippines in 2015 when I got married. I work at Deaf Center Manitoba, Incorporated, in Manitoba as a service coordinator. I'm also actively involved in the community through volunteering. I'm on the board for MCSD, the Manitoba Cultural Society of the Deaf, and I volunteer on the Advisory Council at CAD to focus on building environmental care. I also volunteer for some projects and organizations in the Philippines. Wow, you're involved in a lot of things. How did you end up becoming an artist, dancer, and performer? My mom was an excellent dancer. She loved ballroom dancing, and among many other things, she was very talented. I learned from watching her while growing up. For the artist part of me, that has to do with my father. He's an expert in filmmaking. He's a talented artist, and I look up to him. Both of my parents' skills have grown and lived in me, and my skills have come from them. I adore dancing, and I'm starting to emphasize and assert my facial expressions to express my emotions through dancing. It must be nice to have both parents influence and inspire you in the arts. Yes, absolutely. Both my parents said something that I never forgot as a kid. They said if I dreamt of becoming a painter, an artist, and developing numerous skills, then I would need to prove myself through my work and prove that deaf people can do anything except hear. True. I agree with it. So MCSD offers general arts programs, and you got recognized by the community. Can you tell me a bit more about how you got involved, what your role was, and what projects with MCSD were in the past, present, and future? Before, I was a member of MCSD. I was a dancer in MCSD's kids show, The Magic of ASL. That was back in 2017. When I began dancing for them, I quickly got recognized as a deaf dancer and proved that deaf people can dance. I was inspired and continued getting involved. I also got involved in a photography group with other deaf photographers to practice and enjoy the art. I also like visual arts, drawing and painting to express my inner world, what my thoughts and feelings are, and place it on a canvas. My art represents who Bella is. I live through my paintings and continue to prove that deaf people can paint. Overall, I show love in my work, and that is mainly why I joined the board of MCSD. My goal is to uplift other deaf youth members to grow their skills and to continue to prove to the hearing world that deaf people can do anything. Do you currently have a project with MCSD? Yes, I'm involved in a project by MCSD, and that project is called A New Rhythm, Teaching Beyond Sound. They announced the project recently, and it was widely distributed. The program teaches others how deaf people dance and how to involve them in the hearing dance world. It also teaches how deaf and hearing people can communicate with each other in dance, as well as showing deaf culture, and what different dances look like so that they can learn and start dancing too. I also teach hearing dance teachers basic dance-related vocabulary in ASL. I also teach the signs for different dance styles like jazz, aerobics, pop. The reason why I'm teaching this sort of thing is that I want hearing teachers to be able to recruit deaf students and offer them equal and accessible opportunities in dance studios. There was also a project last year that was announced for June 2021 called The Magic of ASL. It was the first time that MCSD premiered it on Zoom, and they invited folks across Canada to watch along with other shows. I was really proud of MCSD for not only presenting this project in ASL, but also in LSQ with an interpreter, so that was nice. There are more projects in the future, like building big bridges with a little ASL LSQ. It is an opportunity for hearing dance teachers to learn signs in dance classes. There's also New Horizons, a technology-based opportunity for deaf artists. There's also a group of 8 deaf artists that were picked to present their work to a worldwide audience. What talented artists! It's really cool. So many projects in the future. Wow, you've been involved in dance, acting, and the arts, usually in person. In light of COVID-19, how has it impacted you? Yes, before COVID, I was usually dancing in person for shows, being proud of who I was and carrying the pride that deaf people can do anything. When COVID began, I lost the sense of knowing what to do. I started telling myself to not fixate on the negative aspects of it and to push it away. I looked at Zoom as an opportunity to show my work. A recent project called A New Rhythm, Teaching Beyond Sound, was successful on Zoom. It felt like a way to be recognized, not only by a small group of people in person, but worldwide. Social media was being used to show others what projects we've been doing, what we have now, and what other projects will happen in the future. I'm still continuing to look on the bright side throughout COVID. Zoom is an alternate way to perform. There's almost no barrier. It's perfect. What are your future goals as a deaf artist? Well, my future goals are to show not only hearing dance teachers, but artists, photographers, painters, how to get more involved. I want to educate them and to teach them how to bridge communications with deaf artists by advising them with tips. I want deaf artists to be able to get involved in the hearing world and to be provided access with interpreters or closed captioning and fair opportunity. Do you have any advice for deaf artists? I strongly encourage deaf artists to learn and experience things in the hearing world. To not only be limited to a small deaf community, but to be challenged and journey into the hearing world and know what it's like out there. It's also an opportunity to showcase their skills and to teach hearing people about equal access and equal opportunities. I encourage deaf artists to show proof that they can be artists too. That's going to gain them respect and honor from the hearing people. Do other deaf artists proving their talent give you joy? Of course. I'm also inspired by my parents teaching me about art. Other deaf and famous dancers, artists, and photographers give me inspiration that I want to use and inspire deaf youth artists. I want to uplift them and encourage them to keep going in their craft. Do you have anything else that gives you joy? Yes, I'm a very happy person. Many things give me joy. When I moved to Canada, there were so many opportunities to get involved in the community. I'm happy with my new home. I'm happy to have a puppy now. I'm happy with my husband. I have many reasons to feel joy while meeting new friends here in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I don't feel lonely here. I'm a positive person, and I'm constantly looking forward to what my journey brings me. Do you have any thoughts you'd like to share with the hearing world? I want hearing people to understand that deaf dancers can get involved in plays in a deaf role, and not have hearing people pretend to be deaf dancers. I want to make them realize that deaf people can be included anywhere. I want them to make sure that along with having a deaf dancer on their shows, to also include and emphasize deaf culture, identity, and language, not only for exposure and inclusion, but so that deaf youth can recognize deaf culture in dancing and get involved. This is also so that the hearing world can open their minds. So you would say your advice is to encourage hearing people to be more open-minded about being together. Right. Do you have any thoughts you'd like to share with the deaf community? Yes, I encourage the deaf community to make sure they get involved in dancing, especially for youth and children. We have dance training to provide to youth so that they can learn their skills for the future. I encourage them to eventually become equal to the hearing world, to not feel less than or feel that deaf can't do it. Can't? No, no, no. Can. You can do anything. It's important to let the youth know that they have the resources available to give them support to grow and develop into whatever they want to become. Yes, exactly. Good. We want to do. Thank you. Do you have anything else you want to add? I think what's important is to encourage other deaf dancers, artists, actors, performances to take pride in themselves and in who they are. Don't be afraid, and don't ever say that deaf people can't. Not can't, can. You can do anything. Nothing is impossible. Always. That's true. Thank you. Thank you, Bella, for interviewing with the Deaf What Legacy Project. We also want to acknowledge the Canada Council of the Arts for funding this project. Thank you, Bella. Thank you for inviting me to this interview. I appreciate it.